Hello, everybody. Here is today's lesson on literary terms. This is the last lesson that we're going to do on new terms, and there are no video clips in this one, so hopefully it is smooth. So, I just wanted to quickly review theme. It seems like some of you were sort of confused about that. So, just quickly, it's the moral message of a story. Or the lesson that the story teaches you, and it can be a general commentary on society. So here are a bunch of different types of themes. I'm just going to turn my phone sound off here so it doesn't bug us the whole time. Okay, so yeah, different themes there, things like kindness or belonging, but we will explore themes more as we actually start to read our books. So the first new one is colloquialism. We've talked about this a little bit, but it's basically just slang or terms that are not formal. So you would not use a colloquialism in an essay, for example, because it's not formal. But in a book, it is often used, especially to make the characters unique and realistic. It's not realistic. People don't talk like they talk in essays, so characters want to be realistic. The only thing about colloquialism that's important to note is that it's slang that everyone would understand. So things in the examples like what's up or y'all or gonna, those are things that are colloquialism, things that are specific to you as teenagers or maybe that are specific to our school or a certain class, but your parents don't understand what you say when you're saying them. Those are not colloquialisms. Some more specific examples listed in the corner there are regional differences. For example, pop is called different things in different places. Sometimes it's soft drinks, sometimes it's soda, or how in different countries soccer and football are sometimes the same thing. Another one that's popular is swearing. So for example, in Britain, if they say bloody, that's a swear word, whereas here it's just to describe something that is actually covered in blood. And idioms are another type of colloquialism. So phrases like I wasn't born yesterday or you're driving me nuts, those are examples of colloquialism as well. Foreshadowing is one of the easier ones, and it's just literally a clue about something that's going to come up next. These are most popular in crime or thriller, suspense type genres because the authors like to drop little clues so that you are afraid or so that you have a hint of what's going on. So in the examples, the first one, but she waved goodbye to Tom as he left for work that morning. Esther couldn't help feeling something was very, very wrong. So it's completely normal to wave goodbye to your husband when he's going to work, but she had a weird feeling that something was wrong. So if we were reading this in a book, we would assume that something bad was going to happen. Usually, if you watch a lot of crime or suspense, these are things that the author or that the camera will zoom in on and it doesn't really seem important. So you're watching it and you're like, oh, why did they zoom in on that knife? That seems weird. They've done it a couple times. The knife isn't important to the plot, but you know that eventually they'll use the knife to kill somebody or something like that. Simile and metaphor, we've talked about these, but they're just comparisons. Simile uses like or as, and metaphor does not. So in that chart there's a few that are the same. Like a simile is her heart is like gold, and a metaphor would be her heart is gold. Phrases like this just give us a little bit of a deeper understanding. If I say, you're like my rock, or you are my rock, I'm saying a lot there without actually saying it in words. I'm saying that you are stable, that you're important to me, that you're a good friend, that you're a good listener, all those things without saying it. A metaphor or a simile lets us say a lot of meaning without saying a lot of words. Personification is just when an inanimate object is given human qualities. So for example, the car danced across the icy road. Cars don't dance, but it gives you a better picture of what was happening. The angry clouds marched across the sky. Clouds do not have feelings or legs, so they can't be angry or march, but again, it just gives you a clearer picture of what's happening. Symbolism is when we use a symbol to represent something other than what it is. So there are some common ones listed there that are universal. Most people know that a dove or a peace sign represents peace, or that a skull represents death, or a rose can represent love or beauty. There are some other ones that might be more specific. For example, knowing that green and gold are our school colors. They symbolize our school or a Lancer. Certain images like a Canadian leaf, a maple leaf represents a Canadian flag, and there might be other symbols of your country or of places that you've lived. Imagery is just when the author uses a lot of description to use our senses when we're thinking. So the examples there, for example, for sight, the tiny red ant climbed up the broken twig. Smell, the sweet smell of freshly baked apple in the air. And again, it just gives you more, it takes you into the story and helps you feel what the author is trying to make you feel. So here's a review. Here's a paragraph that has each in it. So I'll just read it and then explain briefly each one. The Friday before a long holiday was always exciting. The hallways would fill with the excited sounds of laughing students dressed in green and gold, and the smell of spring would creep through cracked windows. This time felt different, though. People exchanged awkward smiles, and the air was heavy like a hot summer day. Butterflies of uncertainty fluttered around in my stomach as I drove into a future that remained up in the air. So you can see the color coding for the different things. Thank you, Riza. I'm totally stealing your color coding. And so you can see their imagery, exciting sounds of laughing students. It evokes your senses. Green and gold, we know, represent our school and our school colors and motto. Creep, smells do not actually creep, so that's the personification. This time felt different though, so that's foreshadowing if I'm obviously talking about the Friday before March break, and it was going to be different because we weren't going to come back to school. Heavy like a hot summer day, just a comparison using like. Butterflies of uncertainty fluttering in my stomach is a metaphor, and up in the air is a colloquial phrase. The future's not literally up high in the air, it's just hanging in uncertainty, which is what up in the air means. So for the activity, there's just a Google form with a similar paragraph that's highlighted like that, and you can just match the highlighted phrase to the term that it is. So that's all for today. It's a short one. Talk to you soon.